My association with Yusuf al-Makari was short-lived, but transformative. I used to think that our relationship was utilitarian, and ended when he realized that I could be of no practical use to him. I was simply a person who had failed to meet his exacting standards, and who therefore warranted no further interest or attention. I no longer believe this to be true. I know the man by a different name now. We have not seen each other in person, or even spoken, since the night in London, when he brought me into the presence of a god. In the aftermath he made it known that he had no wish to associate with me any further. He made me confirm that I fully understood this instruction by compelling me to repeat his words back at him. The desire to part ways was mutual. Yusuf struck me as the kind of man who is a survivor, capable of withstanding great hardship, but one who will bring down misfortune and death upon anyone who is foolish enough to stand too long under his shadow. He is widely believed to be deceased, not for the first time, I might add. I think it unlikely that he would fall so easily to the violent and bloody end that has been ascribed to him. It is my suspicion that he still endures somewhere on this earth, and that his true fate is far darker than any that death could provide for him. We first met, by coincidence, on Hampstead Heath in North London, near to the model boating pond. It was a cool Wednesday afternoon in late May. The sun shone weakly overhead. Yusuf was perched on one of the large sections of tree trunk that functioned as natural benches, having been dragged to their present location from elsewhere in the park. It had rained earlier in the day, and the concentric rings of the fallen tree were still damp. A few brown wind-raked leaves, holdouts from winter that had refused to decompose and crumble away, clung wetly to the drooping blades of the unmown grass. The gentle downhill slope ended at the fringes of a grey tarmac footpath that girdled the so-called pond, which would be more accurately described as one of a chain of shallow lakes. If you were to walk all the way around the circumference, I expect that it would take you a good 10 minutes. The wind-stippled water retained the shaky, indistinct impressions of the trees that colonised the subdued hills on the far bank, their spring foliage blotting out any traces of urban London that lay beyond. A sober patch of burnished sun-glare on the mottled surface gradually shifted position in response to my ever-changing perspective. I was on my way to a dental appointment at the Agaby surgery on Nassington Road. The practice was located many miles away from my place of residence, which was a shared house in the East End of London. I confess to having signed on there as a patient not long after my arrival in the city, after reading that it was based in the former residence of a doctor who had once ministered to the poet John Keats. The building had remained in the hands of the same family ever since, and had always been used for some medical purpose or other. My former girlfriend is an admirer of Keats, and used to recite or sometimes sing his verses to me. After we broke up, a part of me wanted to retain a connection to her, however vague and insubstantial such an attachment might be. My choice of dentist was the peculiar end result of this desire.